trust we are all doing well. It is beautiful Wednesday evening, and we are excited to have you join this call this evening. And as Mindshift Africa is known for, what we're known for is crafting the mind. We have taken a look in the past because we know that what we are is actually as a result of what we conceive first.
The mind.
Every, everything comes from the mind. So that is why Mindshift Africa is
Past
a
because
known
we
for
know that what we are is actually as a result of what we consume first. The mind comes
I
from
think
the
there's
mind.
a network
Why?
interference.
Because we know that what we are is actually. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. It's amazing to have you on this call this evening. Very, very amazing. It's good to be here. I think our moderator is having a network glitch, but we're not going to wait any longer. We're getting right into it. So, welcome, everyone. It's good to have you. It's good to have you on the call this evening. This is Winning from the Mind with Olanike Kompoluwa, and it's been a long time here. So we are back with a wonderful series that you don't want to miss. In this series, we've got a lot of packages for you. Each episode is loaded. Each episode is loaded. So we want you to be a part of us in this journey. We want you to be a part of us in this journey as we discuss elevating your mind, becoming limitless. Elevating your mind, becoming limitless. So, in the room this evening, I've got with me our guest, Mr. Jacob Daramola. Yeah, is the product manager for Edosia. So, Mr. Jacob, you are welcome. Good evening. It's good to have you here. Can you hear me, Mr. Jacob?
I can hear you. I'm so
Good
sorry
evening.
for joining this late.
Wow, it's fine. It's fine. You are welcome. You are welcome. This is Winning from the Mind with Olanike Konfoluwa, where we shape uh, thought leaders. Yes, we create thought leaders from here. Now, when we are having discussion, we discuss the burden for the series. Why are we having this series? Why this topic? Because we found out that over the years, the limitation that people have is not really resources. I was at SQI. I went to enroll one of my juniors. So when we were there, I was now encouraging him that you see, a lot of people wanted to have this after those hundreds of thousands, was paid. His mom was also there. So I'm not encouraging him. A lot of people do not have this opportunity. Uh, so don't trivialize what you have. People are looking for this opportunity, they didn't get it, so maximize what you have. To my amazement, the young guy told me that, sir, it's not about opportunity. He said, many people have the opportunity, what do they do with it? Mr. Jacob, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm following.
Yeah, yeah. He said, what the people that had the opportunity, what have they been able to do with it? I was dumbfounded. And I started thinking, that is the problem really that people don't have the opportunity, or we don't maximize opportunity, or we cannot identify when it is opportunity. These and many other things that I've seen in the recent time is what sponsored this particular series, among many others. So this is a conversation that we hope it will elevate people's mind to strive for more. This is a series that we believe that we unlock the minds of people, that we are looking forward to an unfurling. Like, people unfold, they remove the covering, they remove the lead they have placed upon their minds, because their mind is actually powerful. That's why we are having this series this evening. Elevate your mind, becoming limitless, becoming limitless. And that is why we are here. And I am happy that you are here with me. I want to open the platform to you. So, Mr. Jacob Daramola, you are welcome. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olanikbeku. Like I said before, I came in. I couldn't join earlier. So it happened that I would even tell the story of the situation right now. So just a moment before now, I my network became jammed. So I had to step out of my gate, step out of my gate to come to my street to have this. Now, it will form some of the
Amazing.
things I'm going to be saying. Thank you for the introduction and the story you opened with. And then it sets a tone for this, conversation for today, which is about becoming limitless. And then the key part of this is elevating one's mind. So I believe you can all see my screen because I can see my screen has taken uh,
Yes.
the stage. All right, good. So now, elevating your mind. Now, we have come to discover that the mind is what you call the ultimate limited resource. Because with the mind, you can you can imagine anything. I tell people when there are a lot of conversations in the world today, please, I want to confirm that there is no much background noise from my end.
Oh, I'm looking into it. I'm muted.
Okay, that's fine. So, like I said before, we you will agree with me that the mind is uh, the ultimate limitless resources. Because with the mind, you can imagine just anything. You can think of anything, and that's why they say if wishes were horses, beggars will ride, right? Because even beggars will want to. We think also has the mind, right? So you don't have to be a special person to use your mind. So why is it that some persons are able to achieve things that are very great and others are unable to achieve when everybody has the mind? And we are trying to explain that most of the limitations that we have in this world is a function of the mind. So when we talk about the mind as an you know as a limitless resource, we would see that our mind controls our perception of things. Our mind shapes the reality of everything we see. It fuels our creativity and also drives innovation. And we will see that in the fact, talking about controlling the perception, uh, our perception of things is basically what drives the way we react to the situation around. There is a saying that we are our best self when we decide we control the situation rather than reacting to the situation. But really, we there are always actions around us, environmental factors, a lot of factors that comes in our life, the ones that we could not even control. But then when such situation comes, we all have our mind to direct the way we perceive things. All of this will be treated as we go on. I'll speak very much on it as we go on. Then the next thing is shaping our reality. Yes, our mind also shapes our reality. You made mention of a young man who you know you told the story. Forgive me. Uh, okay, I don't want you to interject me so that I'll be able to use my time properly. So you were talking of maybe the story of a young man who couldn't learn a particular course at a place called SQI and the likes. And then, there was a response that it is more of the mind. Maybe that is why some people do not get the finest outcome, out of the experience. Yes, uh, we all have, I wouldn't speak as a motivational speaker because I'm not one, and I'm well aware of the realities that we all go through. But then you have the control in your mind to decide what your reality will be. Now, you are not being disillusional, you are not denying the reality, you are not denying what people call the reality. But then you can choose the way it eats you. You can decide that the reality of things eats you different. From your mind, you can also become creative. Creativity, they say, is not essentially you creating the novel idea, or sorry, creating a fresh thing, what has never existed before, but you looking at things that have existed and you being able to determine what could be made better. You're having the mind that something can always be better. You get to a new environment, you get to a new system, and you are able to spot what could be better. Then you now build a system around it. You can build a product, you can build a solution. It could be simply streamlining a pipeline or a workflow, even in an organization that you have joined, that thing seems perfect. For example, let's say you are joining global beautiful companies like Google, like those shiny companies that everybody wants to join, right? You could just get there and you are able to see what could still be better, and you build a fine workflow that everybody could pick up. You write something like a white paper, and everybody could pick it up and be able to learn that new thing that you have brought in. So everything is determined by the mind, and everybody has the mind. The last one is innovation. Innovation and creativity are sisters. Innovation is also what I have defined in creativity. So let's move on. Now, we have seen how important the mind is, and there is the need to expand the capacity of our mind if we are going to ever become limitless. But I would like to tell the story. I would like to tell, I would like us to consider a story which will set, uh, you know, which will, mean a lot in this conversation for tonight, in my talk for tonight. So let me go to the story of limitlessness. Now, have we all heard of the Tower of Babel? I believe so. Now, the Tower of Babel story is a popular story in the scriptures, in the Bible. And that's in Genesis 11. Yeah, Genesis 11. Now, I marked some part. I don't want us to read everything. A part of it. So the story is just about a group of people in Babylon, Babylon of those days, of the Bible days. They decided at the time that they want to do something very remarkable. And their keywords were, and the things that excite me are come. let us build ourselves a city. This is NIV. I'm using the NIV version of the Bible. Now, come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Now, this very part, one of the stories that we always get from here is the story of unison, people coming together and having a single face, having a single voice, and they are determined to do something. Uh, that's very beautiful lesson to take from there. The lesson I am able to take from there in this case is the lesson that some people thought in their mind that they want to do something unimaginable. Why did I consider it something unimaginable? I began to uh, you know to check and research on uh, what it means to build something that I would have thought that. So, in my understanding of this story, I believe, while we were growing up, there were a lot of stories that we were told that okay, these people want to build a structure such that they can always walk into the heavens and go and see God and say hello to God just as they like. But the understanding I get from here is that they are not essentially, according to the scriptures, they are not essentially wanting to go and say hello to God. Of course, even if they think that, it's still something very, very incredible that they thought to do. Now, how did I think it is a very, very big feat, something very incredible? And I use it as an example of limitlessness. Yeah. So what they thought is, so I began to look at what it means to, build a structure that will reach into the heavens. So I looked at the height of, the distance between the heart and the clouds. Because I believe the heavens they are talking about is the clouds. Maybe they look into the clouds and they feel like, what is this thing that is covering us? We can build a structure that will accommodate a lot of persons. So I saw that the distance between the heart and the closest cloud that we see, the moving cloud that we see, is about 6,500 feet. I saw that there is some kind of cloud that when you travel in the plane, you will see some clouds under you, right? Even when you are not going 33,000 feet, So if you are traveling even local airline, you will see the level, the altitude they get to. They get to like over 10,000, 25,000 feet. That's when you begin to, at that time, you'll be seeing clouds under you. You see yourself going through the clouds. So these persons thought in their mind that this is something that is possible, and they began to be. So I looked at the tallest building in the world. I saw it was Burj Khalifa. If I'm very right and I'm not making the mistake now. So yeah, Burj Khalifa in Dubai, and it is 2,717 feet tall. So these guys decided to do something limitless. Now they decided to do something, quite limitless. And when God, according to the scriptures, when God will respond, I marked that part. I believe you can see my screen. Now, that part says that the Lord said, if as one people speaking the same language, now they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them when they have begun. So the two key things is they exercise their mind to imagine something very incredible. The limitlessness starting from their mind, that they could achieve just anything they decide to do. Then there is the part that they began to do, execution. There's the parts that they did not just continue to imagine and wish, but then they stood up. And the Bible says the Lord said, when if these people began to do this. So it means that we need to train our mind to be able to, first of all, think that there's almost nothing that is impossible to do. Because when we can imagine that there's nothing that is impossible for us to do, then it will fuel our energy. So we need to now talk about ways we could, exercise or expand our mind's capacity. The first thing I have here is to practice mindfulness and meditation. And what I basically mean by this, my thought when I'm putting this down is practicing mindfulness is like paying attention to yourself, right? You need to look at some of the things that has informed self-doubt, some of those things that inform self-doubt in you. I began to think about children, and uh, I see that an example is when children are learning to walk. You see them, they see a lot of older people walking, and they feel that they look like these persons. you know Maybe just people around them, they see that they walk uprightly, and at a point they are actually crawling, or they are moving, like dragging their buttocks. I don't have the right word for that. So they believe they can also walk, and at that point they have not learned to doubt themselves. So they began to learn, oh, how is it possible? Okay, you carry yourself and you attempt to stand on two legs, and they begin to do that. When they fall, they try it again. And what I understand from that part is that at that point they have not learned limitations. They have not learned that there are some things they cannot do until maybe when life happens. So I began to now see that as we grow older, we begin to define ourselves. Oh, these are the things I cannot do. Oh, this is my temperament. These are the kind of jobs I cannot do. These are the kind of heights I cannot reach. So if we will be like baby, I'm a student of the Bible. Jesus talks about the fact that if he was talking to the disciple and the people, that if they don't become like little children, they will not inherit the kingdom of God. There's just a lot of good things about babies. Of course, we are not meant to remain babies, because babies have a lot of inabilities too. But then learning to to unlearning a lot of self-doubt about ourselves. You know, when you are mindful of those key things that you have been able to build along your life experiences, that is making you feel that you are limited in some things, you are mindful of it and you pick it out. You know, you all of this can happen when you practice mindfulness and you decide to meditate. It is not what you could do in the passing, that you could just say, like just say words of affirmation. It does not start from the word of affirmation, right? Then the next thing I believe can help you expand your mind's capacity into now challenge, negative self talks. When you've been able to, you have taken heed of your some of the garbages that there are some kind of, they look like some humans, right? And they see them walking. Now imagine yourself that you are at the very verge of your breakthrough. When we talk of breakthrough or the good things of life, everybody talks about money. So I'll use money as an example. So for example, now Elon Musk, that would be okay. They say Elon Musk does not have a lot of cash. That most of his wealth is in stocks and all of that. So let's talk about people with a lot of cash. Warren Buffett. So Warren Buffett of cash and investments too. Now, Warren Buffett, for one reason or the other, you guys crossed paths, and you were able to discuss. Maybe he's doing philanthropy and he's saying he wants to give out his wealth, and he's going to write you a check of, let's say, $1 million. Is it? People will say it's small money, right? But in Nigeria, against the Nigerian naira, it's a lot of money. So let's say it's going to write you a check of $10 million. Warren Buffett is going to write you a check of $10 million, and uh, he asked you to come the next day. Should I say? In fact, he wrote the check already, and it was supposed to maybe clear it out. I don't know how they do in the United States when they clear money. But then, if you are just at the point, I couldn't find the final story, forgive me. So if you are, imagine yourself, anytime you want to think of doubt, imagine yourself, what are the good things just after this limitation? Imagine that there's just a single action that you're supposed to do for you to get into that thing that will make you happy for life. So if you imagine yourself like that, each time self-doubt comes, you will. So if you imagine yourself in such case, you will not, you will give everything. It is just one step, like press a button and enter your joy for life, enter your smoothness for life, enter ease for life, right? Something like press a button. So you're going to give everything at that point to get to it. And that is how I believe that that is an example of what the children see. They see something very exciting, and having not learned a lot of self-doubt, or they have not learned it at all, they keep going at it. So you need to challenge every negative talk when you've been able to look at those things that you have built into yourself, experiences of life. Maybe you were always not doing well while you were in secondary school, you got into the university and you feel like you can never be a first class. Well, I didn't graduate with a first class, but what I learned, I'm married to a first class person anyway. And one thing I've learned, and I had friends who had, yeah, I have a couple of friends who had very good grades and first class. And one thing I know about first class people is they are given to constant study. They read their books, and that's how I tell young people now who are getting into school: go and make first class. Do your best. How can I make first class? The way to make first class is to read your book very well. Continue reading and read it more than any other person. So uh, when you challenge negative self-talk, that you say to yourself, sometimes some of the things that we call limitation are are just our fears. They are our fears. They are not really realities. Then another thing you need to expand your mind capacity is lifelong learning. Lifelong learning. Everybody should be a continuous learner, right? And to be honest, there is nobody who is not suffering from the how do I call it now? The limiting thought syndrome. It's just that our levels are different. One of the finest persons who has been able to overcome a lot of fear is the popular Elon Musk. There's just a lot of things that is interesting about that man and some of the companies he has built and the kind of things he has done in his life. He just thinks that this is possible and he gets his company to work. You know, look at how much he has conquered, space travel and the likes. So you need to keep learning. Lifelong learning is very important. You don't get to a point where you feel that learning can stop. You know, anytime you feel that you have learned everything, you should take up a new challenge. You should just feel like maybe you have stayed too long at that particular position. Take up a new challenge and keep learning. Then surround yourself with positive influences. It's very important that you give yourself examples of where you want to get to. We may not always have friends that are higher than us. When people say that when you want to get a particular position, look for people who are 10 times. Yes, that's a very good one. But then life will still put you amongst people that you are higher than. So don't neglect them too. But then make sure you surround yourself with positive influences, people who challenge you to do more, who will tap you out of self-doubt. Now, so taking action. From the Tower of Babel story, the first thing is they 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 have been able to their mind is developed. I don't want to say they have been able to develop their mind because we did not see exactly where they were developing their mind, but they have a limitless mindset. So we will say that they have a kind of mindset that we are looking for. Now, after they have been able to imagine or determine, say out what they want to do, the next thing is they took action. And now, so we need to go to taking action. Taking action is what really makes you become limitless, right? Because you become very great when you take when you conquer mountains little by little. You cannot come out and say that, oh, you have not been able to conquer maybe Zuma Rock, and the next thing you are saying you want to do out of this place is that you want to take on Mount Everest. The weather, the cold will first teach you some lessons. So you need to go and start climbing, high walls, mountains in Ekiti State and Ondo State first. When you've been able to do that, you feel the cold maybe over one night, then you can now begin to prepare yourself for the same way marathoners do. People who run marathons. They don't just do the longest one. So you take daily action, and that is number one. When you want to expand your mind, you want to become limitless. One of the things you do is you write down those limiting beliefs over time, right? I have seen for me and a lot of persons, one of the things that works very, very great is that you write down. You write down, right? Most of the things you keep in your mind, but the moment you pick out something, even if it's an action task, a goal, you pick up your pen and you write it out. You always place it before you. You can paste it on your wall. Each time you see it, it reminds you that maybe you are not true to it or you have been true to it. And you begin to commend yourself if you have been true to it. If you are not being true to maybe a goal, when you come to it again to remind you that you should go back to it. So write it down, right? You can take on one, like I said, you take your mountains little by little, you so then you now, like I said, practice mindfulness and self-reflection. This is just actionable things you can do. How to expand your mind, as I've explained. Then you take bold actions against towards whatever goals that you have. So each time you are writing down those limiting beliefs, you need to create a counter belief. You write your belief, your belief of limitations, right? And you now recreate it and say, write it in a way. After you are mindful, you're able to look at some of the things that formed the way you think of those limitations. Then you now recreate it. So for example, oh, I can never I can never be good at mathematics. Now, when you have been able to think through it, it could be that, oh, while you were in primary and secondary school, you're always scoring low marks. But then, if mathematics is necessary in front of you, you now tell yourself that mathematics is necessary for that goal to become maybe a mechanical engineer or whatever thing that you need to do. It is very important. And if I'm going to be this, I must learn it. So I need to learn how to learn mathematics. You need to just rephrase it, the limitation, and rephrase it to saying that you need to, uh, draft out ways to conquer it. That's basically what I'm saying, and you take bold steps at it. So, two things as I come to a close that I want you to take out of here. Uh, there are, of everything you will determine to do, there is a key word that the scripture said about God that when they be, when they have begun to do this, Now, when they have begun to do this, in the way I see it, I explained it. I explain it as when they keep at this, when they start and they keep at it, nothing, their plan will not be impossible. So consistency is the new speed. I remembered the key word, this very phrase that one of my, very, very older brother is late now, the Samson Abioye of Pass.ng. He says, consistency is the new speed. Yes. The speed is not that, oh, I want to become a programmer. I want to become a computer programmer. You know, everybody's talking tech now. Okay, I will be doing 21 days, 21 hours per day. No, you will injure yourself. You know, if you want to break, if you want to move a mountain, remember, you want to move a mountain. Mountain is not small stones or rock or pieces of small rocks. A mountain is huge. The way to move a mountain easily is to move it. Maybe you should break the mountain. You get people who can break mountains. They break it into smaller stones and you begin to move it piece by piece. It can take you days, but you move a mountain. But if you say you want to push it, you can even recruit a lot of people. You will see that it's an impossible feat. But then when you break it, you keep at it, you break it into smaller stones and you begin to move the piece from one place to the other. Maybe from, uh, let's say, if you want to move it, maybe just 1 meter, moving from point A to point B. It can take you, 10 years, but then you will eventually move the mountain. But if you want to move it in that large piece, you will keep doing it and keep doing it unless you use bulldozer anyway. So consistency is the new speed. You don't just develop your mind to think very big alone. After you have thought very big, you now take it up. So if you are a second class upper student, ah, yes, second class lower student or a third class student at 200 level, tell yourself, I want to make the first class. If you have done the mathematics and it's still possible, maybe you need to make 500, 5.0 every time. Take it piece by piece, right? Take it piece by piece. Learn, know those. Don't tell yourself it is impossible. No, you don't tell yourself it is impossible. You need to now tell yourself the things that you were not doing before that is giving you the poor outcome. Then you pick up those, you begin to learn those things and you put in the work and it will come together. If it does not make you a first class student at the end of the day, it can land you on a very strong 2-1 or the bridge of or the line of 2-1, which is maybe on a 5.0 scale 3.5. So this is what I want to leave you with for you to become limitless. You need to expand your mind, you need to develop your mind, right? And developing your mind means that you need to take thought of those experiences, uh, those things that has made up the reason why you have become self-doubting. And after you have taken it up, you begin to reshape the way you look at those self limitations that you have created. After shaping the way you look at it, then you take actionable steps towards that big dream that you have. When you take the actionable step, be consistent at it. Don't faint. Don't carry the biggest piece. If you carry the biggest piece, you can get tired. Just carry it piece by piece. And when you are consistent at it, you will become limitless. Even the Lord will say that whatsoever thing you have decided to do, the way you are consistent, you keep doing it, no one can stop you. Thank you very much. Mr. Olanikeku, you're muted. You might be speaking. I'm done.
Okay. Wow. Amazing. 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 Wow. 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 What a very short but powerful session. What a very short but powerful session. Thank you so much, Mr. Jacob. I I I like uh, I like the way he was giving it to us, step by step, bit by bit. And the funny thing is that the funny thing is that is I think he has other engagements. He's out of the studio. I would have loved to engage him, but that that's fine. That's fine. In this series, like I said earlier, we are discussing elevate your mind. Elevate your mind. And this is not uh, a statement of, how will I put it, mere propaganda. A lot of people, they are not politicians, but they do propaganda with their life. They know that what they are saying is not in sync with what they are doing. There is no way this is going to work. This is the beginning of the series. There is a lot we have in stock for you. A lot of people will still be coming to talk about this series. In fact, I'm not sure if this is the series we'll be doing till the end of the year. But one thing that is certain is that we cannot be talking about becoming limitless if your mind is limited. He has explained, in fact, he has said everything. I'm just trying to do a recap before we call it a day today. Oh, Mr. Jacob, you are back. Mr. Jacob, you are back. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Good. Thank you so much for that wonderful session. I was saying that I love the way you took it bit by bit. There is no way we are going to have a limitless life with a limited mindset. If you want, and this is the thing, I was explaining to some people during the week, and I was telling them that in Africa, our problem is just that we lack research too much. If you go to this place, they are talking about research. Mr. Jacob, I want to ask some questions. So thank God you are here. In Africa, we have a problem. I have told people countless times, I stop preaching goals. Goals will not make you become what you want to be. Goal is a result. Goal is the result. But here's the thing. Every player on the pitch, 11 players that make a team can make a goal. They can score. Can score a goal. Mark my
True,
word, can score a goal.
true,
Every player in a team can score a goal, but not every player will score a goal. You
true,
wonder in a match of 3-2, 3-1, 3-0, one player scored all the three, and three people did assist, or one assist, or let's say three people did assist. You will realize that although the whole team celebrated the victory, that was the goal for the whole team. But the person that made the goal happen was one person, supported by another person, let's say two out of 11. I'm going somewhere. Then you will now begin to check the people that are making the goal happen and the people that are celebrating the goal because they belong to the team. What is the difference? You will now hear the likes of Ronaldo saying, I train soccer 17 hours a day. So it's not just coming to the field that I'm a good player, I can score. Everybody can play the ball into the net, can play the ball into the goalpost. But there are technicalities that are required to get that done. When you have the goal in your mind, it's good. But do you have the skill to work it out? This is where a lot of people get it twisted. I met we are doing something, and I don't want to say this publicly. We are doing something now, and it's kind of public. So when we are interacting with some people, someone was in line A. Line A. Okay, the person is on their way to Lagos, and you ask the person, "Where are you headed?" He said, "Abuja." And you are asking, your goal is where? Abuja. But your action is Lagos. You don't need prophet to tell you that you will only dream forever, but that dream will not come to reality. People have goals, big dreams. And I told people, stop dreaming. Stop dreaming. The eras of dream is past. We have left the eras of dreams. Leave dream to Joseph. And Joseph's generation have passed. In the next episode, I'll be talking about that. People dream, becoming limitless. Yes, that is the goal. But how do you become limitless with a limited mind? It cannot work. In our office, people are working and there are expensive books. You know, our guy is in fact, avid reader. The man, is a public figure. I mean, global icon. So I'm privileged to, in fact, be around such a person. But something happened. The man keeps sending expensive books, books that I have had our mentors recommend. I mean, I see it. I will just look at the book like this, sneak. Go and be eating one page, two page, as I have the time. You understand? I will return it one page, two page, one page, two page. We are now begging people to read. These books are not easy to come by. Do you know the price? I will not be showing some people the price of those books. I said, look at my own book. If I don't consume it anyhow. It's a life manual. There's a way bit by bit, just like you said. I said, just read a page today. When you come to work again tomorrow, read a page. When you come next, just read a page is enough for the day. You will not know that something is happening to you, but they are looking for when they will have time and relax, taking chivita. Like they used to see it in movies, and they are reading and they are reading the books. It will never work. It will remain a goal, but it will never count a point. Because you have a goal in mind, but you don't have the technicality required to make it happen. That is the problem. So in this episode now, what we are challenging you is that in as much, thank you, Hope, thank you, Olumide, Hope, thank you, yes. Think big, cultivate reading, yes. Thank you so much. In as much as you want to become limitless, somebody challenged me and said there is virtually no topic they will bring around you that you will not know. I said, I don't want to tell you when I sleep, and I don't want to tell you when I wake up, because so that I won't be making unnecessary law or rule. So it's personal. But I have routines that I must do. I have my rituals. I have what I must do to remain sane. There are some things that if I don't do them, my sanity for that day will be, in fact, I'll be looking for it. I will be looking for my sanity for that day. Why? Is that I have a goal, but I know the goal is not the problem. The problem is, what am I doing to get there? Let me give you an example. I was teaching some people and I told them that, you don't need, okay, let me say it this way. Just pour petrol on the ground. Just pour petrol on the ground and be playing with ember of fire. There's a petrol on the ground around you. Just be playing with ember of fire. An ember, right? Just be playing with an ember. Mr. Isaac, Mr. Jacob, what will happen?
It will spark fire now. It will become flames.
Yes. If you are not careful, you will be caught up in flames. Because the what we make fire to, to spark, what we make flames to come up is already there. There is petrol, highly inflammable, and there is ember. That means if there are right attitude, right actions, you don't even need to look at the goal. The goal will come. I now understood why Bishop Oyedepo said that God told him that if you don't want to be rich, it's too late. I've been thinking about it, but the day I understood it, I I I, I have to be thinking. I said most of these things that this Baba says, yes, they are prophecy. They sound so spiritual, but they are just some logical things too. He put in the work. His God said, if you don't want to be rich, it is too late. And in another time, Baba said, if we are not here, we'll be surprised. We are not surprised that we are where we are. We'll be surprised if we are not here. That means you don't have to change the goal. Just know the right steps, the right action to take, and you will be there. And that is what. Yes, sir, please, you can run through the slide again. Please. That is what Mr. Jacob has done this evening. If it is possible to run through the slide, that is what Mr. Jacob has done this evening. He said that, now look at this. Consistency is the new speed. Consistency is the new speed. Consistency is the new speed. My guy, just keep at it. You don't need anybody to curse you. You don't need Balaam to curse you. You just be taking wrong steps, taking wrong actions. Your life, the whole of your life will be negative. You don't even need devil. You don't even need devil. One day I was caught up in the depth of my meditation, and I wanted to say that the Spirit of God was the one talking to me that day. And he said, do you think devil is like you? He doesn't have time for those who doesn't disturb him. And I began to look at it. I said, wait, what am I hearing? What's this? So, devil himself will not chase a person that is going heading nowhere. What's the point? He's too busy. He's going to and fro. You have nowhere you are headed. The devil is not in your environment. Because he knew that you are not a threat. He knew you are not a threat. You are headed nowhere. You don't have anywhere you are going. You don't NFA. Consistency is the new speed. What are you doing daily? There are some things that we are doing 7 years ago that they are paying in the year 2024. I still had an experience today. 7 years ago, we are doing some things. Now, 2024, they are paying. I did not know that I was growing. I did not know that I was building something. I did not know that some things are happening to me. I just found out that here I am. Here we go. And it does not matter if we put in the effort we need to put. Now, let me say this. I want us to close in a couple of minutes now. Before I ask Mr. Jacob to give us a closing remark. Now, get this. I was talking to somebody a few years ago, advising the person on what to do. I said, in the next 5 years, you'll be 35. If you do this thing, in the next 5 years, you'll be 35, but with added advantage. If you don't, in the next 5 years, you'll still be 35 with the way you are. If the way you are now, you cannot solve an inch of your problem. a modicum of your problem, do you think the ability you currently have will be relevant in the next 5 years? I said that a few years ago. Many people don't pay attention. The unit of life is time. The unit of life is time. I have time is saying I have life. You have time. I don't join people to say you don't have time. You have time because you have life. But just that your time will be amount to nothing. Elon Musk making 30 something billion in one day, thousands of dollars per minute. We say he doesn't have time. You don't have time. All the loan app are your customer. You don't have time. Or you have time. So what is the worth of your time? Because the worth of your time is the worth of your life. Your life is worth your time. And time is worth your life. The unit of your life is time. The unit of time is seconds. The unit of life is time. That is why when a man lived, they use time to judge the length of the life and the depth of the life in the net worth. Yes, the length and breadth of your existence is time and net worth, the time and wealth. You have to think what your life will worth if you want to be limitless. We are reading a book in the office, and my manager just picked it and said, "Come and see this one." He said, the top, I don't want to tell you the title of the book actually. He said, top 1% people are thinking about which private jet should I buy now? What investment should I enter into? They have reached a limitless state of their life where they know that the only limitation is themselves. Even the rich, the elite, the top 1%, the people in the upper echelon, they know that the only limitation they have is themselves. If those people know that the only limitation they have is themselves, what is your own limitation? You have not even find out. Because if you cannot even find out your limitation, how will you position yourself to an advantage? This series will be a very, very engaging one. And it's going to be a long ride. Maybe this is the series we will use to close year 2024 as God grant us grace. And if there is any topic coming again before the year runs out, we do it. But I want to tell you that winning from the mind is not just a platform, an event. We want to raise a generation of people that will make life better for themselves. And on that note, I will stop now. Mr. Jacob, you said some things. I want you to just respond to it so that we make that one a closing for tonight. Mr.
Okay.
Jacob, look at the action points. Think
All right.
big thoughts. Think big thoughts, but take small actions that build up. I want you to re-emphasize on this life-changing statement. How can I
Okay.
think big thoughts and take small actions that build up? So I make
Okay.
a concluding statement with that. From that, thank you so much.
Oh, yes. Thinking big and taking small actions. That is essentially what consistency being the new speed is. Like you said, that you don't just you don't say you want to do big things. You don't say you want to you want to get some things done, and you are taking the steps that are in opposite direction, right? So taking a step that is in opposite direction will basically mean that you are not being realistic. So, an example of thinking big but taking small action is basically you telling yourself that poverty is not good. Poverty brings shame. Poverty does a lot of things. And you know that the background you came from is an humble background, which is not wrong. It is the mercy of God that made that happen. Now, you can think big that I will become prosperous in whatever thing I do. Then begin from now to make sure that you are building the habit that whatsoever thing I find doing, I will do my best at it. What does it mean? You are an undergraduate now, do your best at it. You got a job in an environment that is toxic, do your best. Even if you are going to leave after 2 years, just do your best and leave. You are beginning to build a mindset that I will always do my best. Then you will find yourself that when you become a billionaire, you are very bad. Let me do my best. Let me not faint. And you'll just see that in the next 5 years, you are seeing yourself on the path of being a millionaire
Oh, it's
like the
bad.
illustration I
It's
gave.
bad.
Yes, like finally, like the illustration I gave,
Mr.
you
Jacob,
cannot move a
Mr. Jacob, welcome back. You went offline.
Yes, can you hear me now? I've continued.
Yes, yes, very well, very well.
Okay, so on a final note, like the illustration I gave, you cannot move a mountain by moving it in that manner, in a single piece. Carry it, break it, get a rock breaker or whatever thing that is called. Break it into small stones and begin to move the stones and layer it back in another position. You have just moved a mountain. That is how to move a mountain. I want to
You
commend.
know,
Okay,
please, before you close, you know, as we are talking, I was picturing something. There is this tool that they call sledgehammer, and let's assume, let's assume you want to break, you want to move a mountain by breaking it bit by bit. You know, a lot of people doesn't even know that the tool you will need to break mountain, you must build up, you must be skilled in using that tool. That's where I'm going. That sledgehammer can weigh, let's say, 30 kg, 50 kg, and you know that your capacity, 25-liter keg of water, you cannot carry. Even if the tool is there, you cannot still use it. I have seen people that say, what I need now is money. I advise them, I say, what you need is not money. What you need is common sense. Common sense. Common sense is common. The fact that common sense is common, that people are not even using it, is a problem. The tool self, you must build yourself in using it. Do you know? Do you know that this academic we are talking about? I also have a lot of friends graduated with first class. Yes, I can I gist you? Can I gist you? Do you know that some of them, Mr. Jacob, you are with me, sir?
yes, I am. I'm with you.
Good, good. You know that some people that even finish first class, they don't even know the tool they have because some of them, we don't want to say by chance, by motivation, by reading, they don't even know the reading they are reading. They don't even know what it's meant for. You must begin to understand that everything you have as an advantage, you must learn how to take advantage of it. Your laptop, your phone, they are advantage. You must be skilled in taking advantage of them. Some people have laptops, sophisticated laptop, but only to watch movies. To watch movies, season movies, K drama. But that same laptop, if I carry that laptop and I'm enrolled in SQI, can you imagine what I will become? So you must even be skilled. You must learn. You must know. You must know. You must know what are your advantages. That is why when advantage is passing by you like this, you will not push it. You will not be the one that will still push it away from yourself. Because as we was talking about, you break mountain bit by bit. Do you even have the tool? Do you even know the tool? Are you even skilled in using the sledgehammer? Do you know that when you want to carry sledgehammer, you carry it to your shoulder side like this? You don't carry it like this. It's like this. You must be skilled in using it. What is your educational level? What level of education do you have? Over to you, sir. Let's round up. There is a lot in this series. Don't worry, I promise you.
Yeah.
Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. So let me just leave this. I love to sometimes, let young people like myself see into my thoughts and a couple of my networks. So myself and a couple of my friends, we believe that things can change for Nigeria. And the challenge before us is number one, we are becoming the supplier of raw materials to the world, but we are not building an industrialized nation, right? They will come and carry our cashew from a place like Ogbomosho at 5 naira, for example, and they'll go and make biscuit, make different things with that cashew, and bring it back to us at what they bought at 5 naira. They'll use it to make something worth 200 naira. Look at the value change, 5 naira to 200 naira. So I began to now talk to my friends that how do we become industrialized? I understand from my engineer friends that the knowledge you use in building smaller things, for example, the iron welder that is able to fabricate irons to create tanks, to create gates, and all of that, could also apply some of the skills and learning precision with education and add it to building big machines, big heavy duty machines like caterpillars, and we become that industries is actually what creates jobs and brings prosperity. So I'm charging every young people that is here that the future for us in Nigeria, and we should be thinking of, is creating industry. We are more of a service economy. Everything we call tech is not the prosperity of us. The whites, the Europeans are still the ones leading here. They are the ones determining every new technologies we are. They are the ones inventing it. Fintechs. That's all the innovation around it. But
Okay.
then
Is there?
let us learn, let us build industries that will create jobs, create prosperity for our people. That's the challenge I'm giving to young people. We want this nation to become an industrialized nation. And I pray that the Lord will continue to help us as we begin to expand our mind to think of the biggest things to do to move our nation forward. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak tonight. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jacob Daramola. That is the product manager for Edoza. You have to go and check out what Edoza is. That platform has transformed the educational system in Nigeria and Africa. You know, you know what he's saying. You cannot change what you know nothing about. Industrialization was the power that the Europeans, that the United Kingdom had over the world that time. They controlled the rest of the world because of industrialization. That was the power that they had. They got Nigeria through industrialization. If you don't know, I'm telling you, they purchased Nigeria like this through industrialization. They extended their dominion over all nations, especially over Africa, because of industrialization. And they made us to become myopic enough not to see that. Graduates like this, first class, the guy that should input his genius into creating something here is looking for such a fully funded scholarship in the UK, and he stayed there in the UK working there, leaving UK, he's processed US, boom, he's gone, making life for himself better, not knowing that he has been shortchanged himself. His nation has been shortchanged. I am telling you. I am telling you. Thank God for a person like Elon Musk. He has been well referenced tonight. I wish you could go and learn more about him. So this is where we'll be drawing curtain on the conversation this evening. Please help me appreciate Mr. Jacob Daramola of Edoza. That's the product manager for Edoza. Thank you so much. It's nice having you, and we look forward to having this conversation with you some other time. And to our amazing audience, those that stay till now, thank you so much. Just like John Obede will say, make sure you do what you need to do to make the rest of your life the best of your life. Thank you so much. We love you. Bye for now. Thank you
Bye
so
bye.
much. Thank you, Mr. Jacob. See you on the other side.